acting. Great sitting acting.
I don't think I can remember much of it. I don't know what I look like. I've not looked in the mirror for about 6 weeks. I did this morning though.
So this one's easier, because we're just going through the race.
Am I mad to row across an ocean? I don't think so.
I think other people will think we were mad, but I think for the 4 of us it's just a kind of normal thing to do.
Get the hairy legs in.
I don't think we were mad, no. I think we set out to do something, we set out to achieve something, and we did it.
I don't know why we do these things. It makes you feel alive though. I think it just, yeah, that's what it is.
3,000 miles, yeah! Come on! Woo! Let's go! Yeah! Come on! Yeah!
I'm Jen, I'm skipper and medical lead, and in my normal life I am a physio with the Great Britain and England hockey team.
My name's Emily Widdowson, I am the nutrition and logistics lead on board, and in my day-to-day life I'm a landscape architect.
My name is Janette Potgieter, but I'm known as JP. I am the technical lead of One Ocean Crew. I'm a corporate investigator.
My name's Erin Bastian. I am lead nav, and I'm a sea kayak guide by trade.
So the Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge is a 3,000-mile race across the Atlantic from La Gomera in the Canary Islands to Antigua in the Caribbean.
We're going to be rowing across the Atlantic. There are going to be massive waves, there are going to be storms, there are going to be wind holes, there are going to be so many other challenges in terms of just 4 of us on a very small boat.
It can change rapidly from flat calm to ferocious, huge waves.
You're going to get a maximum of 90 minutes rest, and then you're going to have to get back up, get back out on the oars and do another 2-hour shift.
Why am I doing this row?
I just really felt this need to do an adventure.
And then someone said about ocean rowing, and I'm like, how you can actually row across the Atlantic? And I'm like, yeah.
But I love a challenge, and I love to push myself.
So I went to see a film, Losing Sight of Shore.
And I'd read loads of different people's books on their adventures.
And I stood up and I was like, oh, I'm definitely rowing an ocean.
I don't know why, I never really thought that those people were me. And then anyway, when I saw this advert, I was like, well, why not? Why not me? Actually, we feel really prepared, really prepared. We did so much training in the UK. When we got the boat in April, we trained every single weekend between April and October that the weather would allow.
The physical training part was boring and exciting and challenging. The hours of rowing, the hours of getting trains down to Weymouth, Portland to row on the water, the preparation in terms of knowing the boat, what's on the boat, the kit, everything. I mean, we've had 190, almost 200 hours on the boat to test out everything. It was the campaign, it was the social media side of it, it was just getting all the funds in.
I mean, the sponsors have just been vital. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, without anyone. From someone who's donated £2 right the way up to our headline sponsor, Mornflake, we would not be here without them.
After Jen got in touch, it was clear really there were multiple alignments between what One Ocean Crew were doing and our own company ethos. Mornflake Mighty Oats are a family business. One Planet, One Ocean highlights the impact that we all have on the environment. We want to ensure our impact is as minimal as possible for the benefit of future generations.
We sold all these hearts for Valentine's Day, and so people could buy a heart. In the heart they could write whatever they wanted, really, a person's name or a message to us or a message to someone else, and then we stuck them all down the edges of the boat so that when we're rowing we can see all the people that have supported us and all the messages and things. It's really nice. It's really sweet. We're raising money for the Sea Ranger Service, who are a brilliant charity and social enterprise. We loved the fact that they supported the ocean and were really all about ocean regeneration, which a lot of charities are, which is great, and we love that. But they've got this like real big social element to it. You know, they have people right at the heart of everything that they do, and they're really unique in that way. There's no one else doing the work that they're doing. It is such a huge challenge, and there's no way we would do it without everybody. Absolutely. Yeah, we feel ready. The boat's packed, we've completed our boat inspection, so we're officially race ready.
I've never been this prepared for anything in my entire life. She's like, what can go wrong?
Now it's recording because you can see it counting.
Okay, so it's the night before race day.
Emily and Jamie asked me to do a diary in terms of feelings ahead of the race start.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to just the race starting. The last 2 years has felt like it's taken a really long time to get here.
And it's a mixture of the obvious excitement and nerves, and something in between that I can't put my finger on yet. So hopefully in the next 40 days I can figure out what that is.
We went out for our first row here in La Gomera yesterday, which was so good because I think I'd been starting to get quite nervous, but as soon as we got on that boat and started rowing, I just felt really at home.
It's crazy to think that tomorrow we'll be rowing out and we won't see land again until we arrive in Antigua.
There's been a little bit of tension in the team today and over the last couple of days. Just sort of getting final bits ready, everyone getting a bit nervous and anxious, but I think we're all good now. We're all chilled, everything's packed, we're ready. So this is day 0, and I look forward to telling you more about day 1 through 2. Hopefully not too many more.
Okay, here we are walking down to our boat, walking down this bit of road for the final time from the race tent down to the pontoon. How's everyone feeling?
I'm feeling nervous but excited. Just want to get out there now.
Yes!
Yeah, same. Pretty nervous, pretty excited, but quite calm actually, surprisingly so.
Nice one. JP?
Let's show me, what's the word? Swan? Like cool and calm on the outside?
Yeah.
Terrified on the inside, but yeah, no. Happy to go out today, finally.
Excellent. This is going to be good. Looking forward to it. It's looking beautiful out there. It's going to be so nice to actually get rowing and crack on. Right. See you on the boat. So the start line was all really a bit of a blur.
That morning we woke up, we put stuff on the boat, and even though you think you had a couple of hours, it was just quick, go, 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 and then before you know it, you had to have the team meeting or the meeting in the tent already.
All the crews were there and you could see everyone was getting a little bit nervous at that point, and the start was sort of really looming.
And then we got back to the boat and there was a bit of waiting around, but because we were I think the 3rd or the 4th boat going, can't remember now, it was quite quick.
The teams were set off 3 minutes apart between each boat, so we didn't have long to wait.
And then we ran around like headless chickens, trying to hug everyone, kind of just see everyone for the last time, because you didn't know if you would see them again.
So you've got your own nerves, and then you've got all of the razzmatazz that's happening around you. Like, there's like 36 other boats lined up. Everybody's in their own little bubbles, preparing their boats, last minute panicking things, tying things on, getting everything set up.
And then I'm like, self-doubt, like, what happens if I get the oars wrong? What happens if I don't get them on right? What happens if I crash? It's like, you know, all these questions.
Suddenly they were like, it's race start and one boat's gone already. And you're like, oh my God, it's like 4 minutes till we go.
And then I remember looking to my right and you had Ian from AC and Karsten, and I think Fraser was there as well. And they were all just like,
See you on the other side.
See you on the other side. And I'm like, yeah, I need that. Just focus.
And then you've got the team, they're untying your boat and they're giving you times. They're like, right, you've got 2 minutes to go. you've got 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, count down from 5 seconds, and you're just like, oh my God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're away. Have a great crossing.
And then they kind of moved our boat a little bit out, and you could see me on a video, like looking like left, right, and centre, like pontoon boat, pontoon boat, pontoon boat. Get your oars in, get your oars in. And then as soon as the oars were in, you could just drag through the water. It just started to calm you a little. You're like, oh yeah, I can do it. I looked to the side, and you just see all the other teams like cheering you on. People hands in the air, and it was just amazing, goosebumps. And then you're like, now I just want to sprint. And then Erin, she was like steering, she's like, slower JP, and I'm like powering through the oars. Yeah, and then that was just go. It was just go, go, go.
It was just a bit surreal. There was a lot going on.
I nearly got hit in the face by Emily. She was taking her oars out, and I remember I was looking at a specific person, like putting his hands up, waving at me, and then all of a sudden I just saw this oar on my face. I'm like, whoa! So somewhere, could you hear people going like, ooh?
I didn't see it, so I wouldn't know. But we won't name names.
Emily hit JP in the head.
Right, great. I just said we're not naming names.
Imagine I had a broken nose with the oar.
As soon as you go around the corner, it got quiet very, very quickly. So we had the Coast Guard boat that kind of saw us out.
But very quickly we were over that line and heading away from shore. And so that was it. We sort of got our heads down really then, started powering through and really pushing in and rowing as hard and fast as we could just to get a good lead out at the beginning.
Antigua, here we come. 40 days, hopefully.
It was quite surreal. It did not feel real. You build up 2 years, 18 months to this point, and all of a sudden you're there, and it just does not feel real. But you also realize that this is it for how many ever days. Unknown. You're just not going to see land again. So you're like, whew.
So I was anxious. I was really anxious, like, to row away from land and know that we just, from that point, like, I was committed and there was no getting out of it. And once you row away, that's it. You're in this experience for the duration.
But those first 3 hours flew by. It flew by, like, it felt like a minute. That was quite cool.
Are you filming that?
Yeah! Where did they go? Where are they?
So our plan initially was just to really create as much of a lead as possible.
We knew historically that by the end of maybe the 3rd, 5th, 6th day, the people who are at the top of the pack tend to be the boats that win. And so we knew that if we wanted to win, which we did, then we had to go hard and we had to be at the front of the pack. So we raced hard.
We tried to row 3 up for about 3 days. So it's hard work. You're rowing for 3 hours on and then only 1 hour's break. But we knew at the start we were fresh, we were energised, and that was our one opportunity really to get a good head start. And then mentally, if we could make it ahead of the fleet at that part of the game, would put us in a great position to stay up front. So we tried, we worked as hard as we could, and we really, really started pulling away the miles and putting some space between us and the rest of the fleet. We were pushing sort of so hard, we ended up in about 5th position.
We powered through, but then we had the conditions as well to help us. And I think that kind of gave us a false sense of a good start. And then as soon as we got tired and as soon as the weather started not turning against us, but like dropping down, that's when we realized, oh, fuck hell, this is going to be tough. I hope this works. Don't be angry if it doesn't. Dear Dari, dear Jamie, dear whoever wants to listen, day 2 of our crossing. The day went really well. We found a bit of wind that kind of gave us a bit of a a kicking or a quick start. And then the girls started dropping like flies. Seasickness. There was a lot of bucket hugging, tears at one point as well over the bucket, and yeah, a lot of sick.
I was just rowing and throwing up. That's all I did for about 4 days.
It is day 3. The last 2 days I've been offline really because I've just been sick, most of it, bad seasickness. So I've been sleeping or rowing or throwing up.
Seasickness is horrendous. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Hygiene doesn't matter, cleaning your teeth doesn't matter, eating doesn't matter, drinking doesn't matter. And that's terrifying in itself is, am I going to feel like this for 40 days? Because it's a horrendous feeling.
First night on board was a little bit rough. 3 of us felt pretty sick. Quite a bit of vomiting going on the deck.
Yet your body is just like so traumatized by what you're doing. It's like something's wrong. Quick, get it out, but you can't get it out because it's not there. It's like the environment, not your body. You're hugging. You've got a head in a bucket, and you know that that's the shit bucket. You're like, this is great.
But anyway, we made it through. We're all feeling much better today, especially Erin. She was really ill, but she's in a much better place. She's on the oars now, and looking pretty good. So we'll just make sure that she stays, on the up over the next few days.
Today is the best day so far. I haven't been sick once. Day 4 is a success. The girls are doing a bit of surfing. We've got wind behind us. We've got some swell behind us. We've been able to eat some food. Very happy. 10 out of 10.
Gonna give you a bit of a tour of the cabin. It won't take long. This is how big it is. This here is our electrical department. This is a little control panel. These are our switches. These are our battery monitors. Our chart plotter, which tells us how far we're going. We've got our VHF so we can talk to people. This is a lifesaver. This is our fan. This here's the wardrobe. You've got an Erin cabin, another Erin cubby, an Emily pregnant cubby, another Emily pregnant cubby, Emily food snack cubby, Erin food snack cubby. Everything else just sort of like lives like around us. This side we put our feet in. This side is where everything's stored. Anyway, I have to go because it's going to rain, so I'm going to shut the door. And welcome to Stern Cabin, everybody.
He's waving at us.
Hello.
Hi.
He's got like orange fins. Wow.
Erin, what are you up to?
I am plugging the hole in our toilet bucket with chewing gum. So I'm using this unusual technique. I learnt this at secondary school, that if you plug things with chewing gum, they harden, and hopefully the wee will stay in the bucket. Craftsmanship, this is craftsmanship.
What happens this time of day?
Dinner time.
Dinner time and?
Washing time. Me and the clothes.
So yeah, good spirits on board at the moment. Everyone's feeling pretty good. We're pretty chuffed with the speed that we're getting on the boat, and we're just really determined to push on and try and get a bit of a lead over the next few days if we can.
So by the end of the first week, we were up to about 5th place. We were really excited, really motivated by this, that we'd pushed through. Not only were we leading the female class, but we'd overtaken a lot of the men's teams as well, and we were really stood up there in the front.
To be able to go out, put all that effort in and actually succeed, you know, like as in, you know, what we wanted to happen was happening, was massive morale boost. And I think that kept us going for that first week because we rowed hard.
It's now 10 o'clock in the morning. The sun's come out and the swell is just starting to come up on the ocean, which is great to see because that's a good sign that the winds are about to change. I've just come off my shift, got a cup of coffee, and actually loving life right now. Pretty good. Got Erin and Jen on the oars. Sun behind me, and yeah, dreamy day. Looking forward to getting in those trade winds and getting a bit of help. Exciting times.
If ever anyone ever tells me again wind is coming and they're in front of me, I might punch them in the face.
So suddenly the water's just like really heavy. It was like rowing through treacle, like you're putting in all of this effort and the boat was just going nowhere. And it was hot and it was flat and there were no waves, there was no wind, and you're like working your arse off and the boat's just not moving. Woke up this morning, I was definitely a little bit grumpy this morning because I was so tired. And then we woke up and realised that the very mild northeasterly wind that we'd had gone. And there's pretty much no wind at all. And the boat was really, really heavy as a result. And we decided that actually we needed to go back to 3 up to get the boat moving. You know, we're never really quite sure where the other crews are, and there's definitely people who have taken different routes, and so yeah, so that's what we did. We went 3 up to try and make as many miles as possible.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the sea basically is flattened to like this mill pond, but it makes the water very thick. So because there's no movement in the water, you have to break the surface of the water. It's like rowing through treacle. It's very heavy, and so you're having to lever the boat through this and breaking the surface of the water, which adds effort to the rowing. And we were in that for weeks. So it felt like weeks. It must have been weeks.
This is day 7. Day 7. 5 a.m. in the morning. Just done a 3 to 5 a.m. slot. It's trickle, there's no wind. It looks like a dam. The water looks like glass. It's very peaceful, it's very quiet, but my God, it's hard work.
It is day 9 and I would say things feel pretty hard. The rowing's hard, trying to eat the food is hard, trying to get some sleep is hard, trying to go to the loo on the bucket is hard.
We are focused and we're pushing harder, but swollen fingers, blistered hands, sore tendons is all kicking in one go.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. That was one of the hardest shifts I've done so far. Just really, really struggling to keep my eyes open. Rowing for 2 hours, falling asleep at the oars. Super tough.
We're still in the lead of the women's group, or the females class, which is great news, but we kind of have to cling on because the mothership is hot on our heels.
Still no wind behind us. We keep hearing that the winds are going to be coming, trade winds, but it's pretty calm out there, so it's just slogging away, rowing, trying not to sleep.
We would psych ourselves up to be like, okay, well, we can push through this for 3 more days, and then we're going to get a bit of wind to just lift the boat speed, and it's going to just be that little bit easier, and we'll start to make a move. And then you get to that day and it doesn't come, and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if we can keep pushing this hard.
just had a lovely call home with my dad. Just feeling a little bit emotional because I'm very tired. I'm very, very tired. And it is hard, it is really, really hard.
2 words that are now banned on this boat, in my opinion, is soon and quick. Because nothing happens quickly. Nothing. The only quick thing is a 2-hour break. Everything else takes donkey years.
I think we've got another week of minimal wind, which is fine. It just means another week of hard graft, which is also fine. But yeah, it's pretty, it's a little bit draining.
If anyone ever tells me winds are coming soon again, I might lose my shit. Give me hours, give me days. Say it's coming, don't know when, that's fine. Just don't say soon. Fucking hell.
Lots of good stuff, of course. Incredible to be out here. Wildlife is amazing. But yeah, sometimes I just need a little cry to let it out. So you can get back on, put some more power on those flipping oars and try and get to the wind.
As the stronger people and the bigger teams started overtaking us and we started losing our advantage, I think all of us maybe struggled. It felt like all of us struggled.
So we soon learned actually to just ignore any promises of wind, and we kind of reset our expectations that we weren't going to have any wind, and if we got any wind on a day then that's brilliant, but we're not going to listen to any more "the wind is coming soon" chat, because it was so demoralising.
So in the end we got together and we made a bit of a pact, and we agreed, okay, let's not focus on the weather, let's not care about what the wind's doing, let's not look at the other boats, let's not think about where they are, let's focus on Christmas.
Welcome, One Ocean crew, to our first ever Atlantic Ocean Christmas! Woo!
Merry Christmas! So yeah, we got chocolates, we got gifts, we got little cards, we got a lot of chocolate.
Oh my god, it's fudge!
Oh!
Face mask!
Miranda!
Woo!
The best Christmas cake in the world! It's chocolate orange! And a squeezy frog!
Christmas!
It was like a marker, because otherwise there's no distinction over like how long you've been out there. So to have a day like Christmas is something to celebrate, and because we weren't celebrating about our position in the race, we had something else to like entertain us, which was really nice.
It's amazing how just cracking through paper and opening up something that's going to be a surprise is it kind of lifts the mood. And then we read a lot of messages from friends and family as well. That was quite nice. It was quite sweet. 2 weeks in, Christmas done. A week from now, New Year's. And then effectively we'll be halfway into our very mad adventure.
So yeah, I'm going to go and eat some more chocolate now, and then have a nap, and then get back on the oars. Dreamy.
It made us feel like we weren't out there alone, and it just totally lifted our spirits, which was amazing.
Just finished a shift on the oars. It's still pretty dark out there. The sun doesn't come up for another couple of hours. Struggling to sleep at the moment. We seem to be dropping back quite a few places in the fleet. So we've gone over the last few days from being about 8th to being down to 15th. We're still the first female team, but only just. The second female team are now just 3 nautical miles behind us, which is a little bit scary. And the sort of fleet that we're close to are all moving about half a knot faster than us, and we cannot figure out why. it's really frustrating and not enjoying seeing everyone overtake us slowly after all the hard work we've put in for the beginning of the race. So it's quite demoralising. I'm hoping tomorrow that we can find some kind of resolution and get back up to speed with everyone else again. Fingers crossed.
I think it's day 16. I think we've been at sea for 16 days. The last few days have been really hard. I say that all the time, been really hard. No, they've been tough. Like, we've had a lot of teams overtake us. We haven't been moving as fast as we wanted to be moving. And the boat felt really sluggish, and we were like, what's going on? Have we got water in a hatch? Is the boat heavier? What is happening? Because we cleaned it. We cleaned the bottom about a week ago. So we decided, right, we'll get in and clean it again. And oh my God, has it made a difference? We've literally gained a knot in speed just from cleaning the bottom of the boat, which I have to admit, I think is my favourite job. Jump in with a scraper, swim around, clean the barnacles off the bottom of the boat. It's pretty nice. And you look down and the water is the most incredible colour blue. I mean, you just know it's miles and miles deep. And it's a little bit unnerving because in the last week we've seen sharks and marlin and tuna and Portuguese man-of-war. And there's a lot of creatures down there that it's their habitat, it's their home, and makes you feel incredibly small, very tiny. The morale was awesome. The mothership overtook us last night, which was absolutely mortifying. We've been battling them from the get-go. They're our competition. And then of course when we started rowing again after cleaning the hull and we got a bit more boat speed and we were gliding and we were surfing, we started to feel pretty good. And then this evening we got a message just to say we'd overtaken again and we're 1 nautical mile in front, which is nothing yet. Considering you've done 1,000 miles and we're just 1 nautical mile ahead. So yeah, everything to play for. I think this is going to be a race to the bitter end, all the way to Antigua. So let's see what happens. This is breakfast of champions. It is actually, custard apple crunch. Looks delicious. I don't think I could face porridge this morning, so I'm going to roll with this and see how it goes.
It's day 18 and we are currently in 2nd place in the women's class. So the mothership and us keep overtaking each other. So in a bid to put a bit more ground on them, we're rowing 3 up now for 3 days. So just implemented that. And we're coming up to a little bit of a sticky patch, so light winds again for another 2 days. So our aim is to just really push through it, try and keep the pace the same, hope they're not doing similar tactics, and see if we can pull ahead of them and make a bit of ground. So still day 18. We've now done 3 3-hour shifts each with our breaks in between. It's been absolutely so hot. And for the first time ever, we're all really, really excited about night shift. Night shift is usually the hard one, the one where it's super impossible to stay awake. You have to get out of bed, wake up when you're tired. But this time we're all just absolutely desperate to be out of the heat and cannot wait for the sun to go down. And if I just twist the camera around, you'll see, look at that! Goodbye, sun, and good riddance.
You can do this.
You can do it, Jen.
We believe in you.
Just like jumping out of a plane. She completely collapsed behind you.
You're going to capsize us because of a fish that's half an
one of these in the middle of the night. She got...
It was a shark!
Fish! And then she just jumps up and there's a fish about this big on the floor. Hit by a slimy fish!
It hit me with quite some gusto.
I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
I don't want to do it.
It's part of being an ocean rower.
I don't want to do
You
it.
gotta deal with the fish. Go on. Find your inner strength.
JP. Stupid fucking fish landed in my fucking lap and it was flip-flopping around. It made me fall off my seat. The foot plate came out. A fucking disaster. I was having my lap and it was like... I do not consent to this fish sitting in my lap. It needs a fucking education. It's not okay to do that to someone. Mad. I was fucking mad. And I don't like it because they get in my face and they wriggle around in my face and it makes my body do these involuntary movements and I just can't control it. I don't like it. And it went on my brand new shirt. I'm not going out there again. I'm done for the night. I'm staying here. It's treacherous.
It's the 31st of December and we're preparing for New Year's Eve. It's very exciting. The sun is just setting in the background. Erin and JP are rowing and I've got my face glitter on ready. Party time. Party in the middle of the Atlantic.
I'm such a kid. So Em brought this little disco ball that you plug in and it picks up the bass of music.
I got the words wrong.
I was rowing, it was midnight, we did the countdown, it was hoo-ha, great party.
We've basically got the pre-dinner nibbles, the nuts, an entire cheese board, and a selection of desserts. And
Yeah.
What do you want?
We're basically eating them all by light of the disco ball. I mean, we might as well be on a cruise right now.
But I do remember coming off the oars and then sitting with Em, and I had a hip flask that had whiskey in it. And we had whiskey. And the disco ball was going, and it was amazing. Like a few of my highlights, I have like highlights of nature, I've got highlights of the sky, and I've got highlights of on the boat, and on the boat, that was one of my highlights. The little things in life. Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for the countdown? Countdown to New Year, the end of 2021, the start of 2020. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And just like that, it's 8 minutes past and we've gone back to life as normal. Jen is filling the water bottle, guys are rowing, I'm going to bed.
Okay, so one of the best things about being an ocean rower is that this is a suitable sized chocolate bar for one snack. The challenge we're experiencing at the moment is this. Chocolate doesn't do too well in the heat, so there is only one solution involved, and that is being a little bit creative with the way you might normally eat a chocolate bar. Best way forward, give it a little peel at the top, open it up, spoon in hand, and oh yeah, tuck in. Oh yeah, that is good, that is good. That's going to sustain me to row for another 3 hours. Can't do this at home.
So last night I had a bit of a tantrum.
Myself and Erin were on deck, and I think her back was hurting and she was just not in a very good place.
There was a massive squall coming through, my bottom hurt like hell, and I just had a bit of a tantrum.
Even now, just thinking about it, ooh, you kind of get emotional. You just can't see someone being quite upset and not, you know, just jump to that sad place with them.
It was incredibly frustrating. We worked super hard for over 24 hours to put a 4-mile lead on the motherships. And then the weather just gives us this sticky, disgusting, heavy ocean, which like you just can't move the boat in, there's no wind, and it's just infuriating.
There's just the two of us in complete pitch darkness on deck, and I have my hands full of oars, and I would typically just hug someone when they get upset, and I just, you know, what do? Panic. And I was just like, fuck it. Oars were down and I just hugged her. Don't know why it's so sad. Anyway, we hit a low, and then for the rest of the shift, we basically spent time talking about what is trauma on this boat.
For the following hour, whilst I was sulking, she talked at me for an entire hour, continuously. I was very impressed.
Things that ocean rowers don't tell you that they really should. I guess if they did, no one would do this. Stuff like the water maker, trying to get into that electric pump that was made with small hands. I just couldn't get into it. I just can't see what the hell is going on there. Another bit of trauma, taking a poo in a bucket when waves are slamming you. I mean, that is just not normal. What else is trauma? Trying to surf waves and then your oar would just hit your thigh and it feels like it's going to penetrate it, or hit your shin and it feels like it's going to break it. Where a moment of silence is required just to make sure that you can kind of gain your thoughts again and get back. But hey, we wanted a challenge. We got a challenge. We wanted an adventure. We got an adventure. So be careful what you ask for. Jane, what are you doing?
Oh, what's the time?
It is 1 minute past.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What have you done?
Oh, Jane, I'm so sorry.
How was your sleep, Jane?
Oh, no. No, that's not me.
No.
Sorry. That was great.
Corporate course on action.
Oh, no.
Caught in action.
My sleep was great. It was just 25 hours too short.
There she is, guilty.
Alright, it is about 4:10 in the morning. Just come back in to the cabin after my second 3-hour shift. And in the last day I've had approximately 90 minutes of napping time in total. Which is great because, you know, I don't need sleep. I don't need sleep at all. Having the best time. So this is just really what 2022 is all about. It's a bit of a fight really here because ever since the beginning of this race, it's been a little bit cat and mouse with the mothership. We've had the lead they've taken the lead, we've taken the lead back, they've taken the lead back, they've got faster water, we've been in the stickies for the 18th time, etc, etc, etc. It's been very close, and they're currently in the lead now. You know, there's still about 3 weeks to go, so it's all to play for, and I very much see that this will be a fight to the bitter end. We will not go down without a big, big fight.
We always knew we could do it, but what we didn't know is could we take back a 20 nautical mile lead?
20 miles when you only travel 3 knots at a time, or 2 knots, is a very big distance, even over 3,000 miles. So yeah, you're like, how the hell do you catch that up? I don't know.
But we all wanted it enough, and I think that's the thing. We wanted it enough to try, and we were determined enough to try. And I think we were resilient enough to throw everything at it and just to keep going because we wanted it so much.
So finally, after 2 weeks of pretty much calm, flat seas, the wind did build.
What was that like?
Heaven. Oh my God. Heaven.
And then the waves started to build.
This is when we had 3 big days. Massive, massive waves.
Some of the waves, you just look at it and it gets bigger and it's bigger and it's bigger and you're like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
But as soon as you start to get the bigger swells, it was pretty exciting. I loved it. I thought I was going to be quite scared by it, but I didn't feel scared by it at all. It was just, it's pretty spicy. It was good fun.
I think the quickest we went was 10.6 or 10.9.
If the wave broke on you, you'd get knocked off your seats, and it was just carnage sometimes.
And it was so exhilarating. It was so exciting. We were sort of riding up these waves, surfing down.
We smashed it. We did not hold back. We just went for it.
We managed to stick to our course still, so sticking to the run line, so pushing as hard as we could through the wind, through the waves, and keeping as much on course as possible, which became harder and harder the more you're being pushed and rocked and rolled around by the waves. But we stuck at it and we held true.
A lot of teams turn to run with the sea because it's a lot safer and easier going, and I think we kept our course, although it was harder but more advantageous. So we were heading directly towards Antigua, but everybody else was like, fuck me, this is scary, let's run with it.
And we started one by one to come back and gain on the other boats. So it was really, as well as having these incredible, amazing conditions, we started to claw our way back up the fleet, and we thought, right, this is our time. We've got an opportunity here, we've got an opening, and we can take back that lead of the female class. It was a little bit touch and go at some points. We were riding very close to the edge of the wind, just to try and make as many miles as we could. And really exciting is we managed to close the gap to the Mothership, who are our female team competition. We'd seen the Mothership pushing so hard for the past few days while we were stuck in this wind hole, and really sort of pushing and putting forward, and we thought, are we going to make it? We weren't sure, and suddenly to have them in our sight was pretty incredible. Hopefully if we keep going at this pace, if we can hold it up, we might overtake them in a couple of days' time, which will be really exciting. So at which point, really pushing hard, and finally overnight we overtook the Mothership, and we took back our position as the female lead of the fleet.
Hi.
Hey guys, what are you doing? You're supposed to be rowing.
We're just going to have a tea.
Oh.
Because the wind is going so fast, we actually don't need to row.
What?
This is how you do the world rowing style.
That's pretty amazing. Let's double check that they're telling the truth here. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. 3.3 knots. 4 knots. 4.5 knots, 5.2 knots. That is pretty good going. Just blowing our way to Antigua.
Unfortunately though, it wasn't to last long, and the trade winds, although they'd come, they disappeared very quickly.
It lasted 3 days and then they buggered off.
Have you ever felt like someone has just pulled your plug? Like you go from extremely happy to extremely low in a few seconds? That's how it felt. Torture.
The mothership put on another burst, came at us from a sort of more southerly angle where they had some good wind, and within a day of us taking the lead, they'd pushed right back ahead.
And then this ridiculous leapfrogging started happening. So we were like, okay, we need to make more distance because there were only a couple of miles is nothing. We're doing everything. We're looking after the boat trim, making sure we're not taking on too much water. We're nailing our course with the conditions. We are rowing as hard as we can row. We're going to have to do more.
Nice little squall over the sunrise there, heading right for us. Looking forward to being drenched in that one. Looks pretty impressive though. It's whirring like an atomic bomb actually.
We're coming up to our final week out here, and we've been playing this game of cat and mouse with Mothership for days now. Last night we finally overtook them again. The previous time we overtook them, they overtook us straight back within like hours, which is really frustrating. So this time we're like, right, okay, we're going to make this hold, we're going to push it hard. And over today, we managed to gain 4 miles on them. But tonight, things have really fallen off. So sort of waiting for an update in the morning to see if they've taken back.
We were toing and froing so much with the mothership, it got to the point where people's morale did get pretty low, and there's only so much you can say to keep trying to lift it.
We were pushing each other to the limit, and we were racing to the point where we're like, one of us is going to break. Like, we have to keep going until one of us breaks. And I was like, I feel like it might be me. And then the girls were like, no, we've got to give it one more go.
So it's about 2 in the morning now, and I have been really struggling to stay awake through this shift. At one point, I looked up and saw birds like swimming on the water around the boat, and I asked Jen, God, look at those birds, what are they doing? At which point she replied that she couldn't see any birds, and I realised my eyes were firmly shut and I was asleep while rowing pretty poorly, actually, to be fair.
So we can keep doing what we're doing, but it's not enough. This is not enough to win the race, so we need to shake things up a bit.
For days at that point, we'd be watching their speed, we'd be looking at them, we'd suddenly see them put on a speed burst, and we thought, they're rowing 3 up, and if we want to take them, we've got to row 3 up too.
There's a high chance that this is going to break us because it's such high cost having more rowing and less rest, but what we're doing isn't enough to win. So we want to win, we're going to have to raise the bar.
All right, day 31?
Yeah.
31 it is. We've had continuous issues with wind, as in no wind, and we've decided that we are going to do a little ceremony to Neptune, not Trident, Neptune, in the hope that over the next couple of days, starting tonight, we'll have some wind.
So, oh great Neptune, please take this sacrifice of our very valuable and very special finest whiskey, which we've been saving. We're out here for 40 days, remember, so this is valuable shit. We're willing to give a drop to you in exchange for a tiny little bit of wind.
A tiny little lot of wind.
A tiny little lot of wind.
Tiny little lot of wind. Oh great Neptune, please accept our sacrifice.
So I dip it on a bit on the deck. That just breaks my heart.
One for Makita!
One for Makita!
One for the sea!
One for the sea! And then one for JP.
And one for JP!
Right. Final words?
final words. JP and I consulted the great cloud, Sir Christopher Cumulus, and he informed us that the wind is coming soon. Soon. Nobody's told that to us before. So I'm pretty convinced that the wind will be here soon.
We said to each other, we looked around and we said, I'm not sure we can keep doing this. We were literally at the end, physically, mentally, we were drained.
When we kept overtaking, it was like an emotional roller coaster, because if we gained, it was like ecstasy on the boat. If we lost, it was like somebody had died. And we did this like a roller coaster of emotion every 4 hours, like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
I remember kind of rowing with Em, and I just asked her, like, Em, just be honest with me. Do you think we can take them again? Do you think we can do this? And even she turned around and she's like, JP, I'm not sure.
So we have these team meetings, and I think in the meeting Jenna was like, right, this has got to stop. I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this. We either need to put everything in and we need to get ahead and keep ahead, or I'm done.
So we thought hard and we thought, okay, we got together and we said, we can do it. One more push and it's going to be make or break. We were like, it's either going to break them or it's going to break us. But that's about all we had left in the tank.
And I think shortly after that, it got to the point where we could go 3 up, and we did. We hated the stern seat. We hated the oars and turns of the seat. We hated it all. That stern seat was just bleh. But we got in it time and time and time again, and we just pushed and pushed and pushed.
At this point, our hands were aching. It was, you know, it was a challenge to grip onto the oars and to hold on with our fingers not working properly. We were tired all the time, but we just had to push through it. We had to keep going. If this really didn't play out for us in terms of this strategy and this aim, we would not have had the energy left to push again. If the mothership had managed to come back and overtake us once more, mentally, physically, I don't think we could have pushed back. It was a last shot.
I think that was the only way that we could keep ourselves motivated and going. The thought of not being able to do it. It was just, if you think about an equation, there's normally if this, then that. There was never a then. It was just if, do. If, go. Go, go, go.
There was always one more go. That's the trouble. With our team, it was always going to be one more go.
How many one more goes were there?
There were many. We were never going to give up, I don't think. Stubborn.
And we went for it. And we lasted a final push. We got ahead of the mothership. And then, as we'd hoped, the winds came a little bit, gave us that final lift and pushed us forward. Slowly, tiny bit by tiny bit, we were making gains and pulling away. And we're sort of talking, you know, getting up to 10 miles away, which is nothing in terms of ocean racing. And there was no safety net, there was no gap, there was no opportunity to let up. We just had to keep pushing every day. By which point we were knackered, but it was. We thought if we want to win this trophy, if we want to get to the end, this is what we've got to do. And we were lucky. We held it, and yeah, unbelievable really. But there was nothing left at that point. Nothing left.
Will it get us? Will it not? It's big, it's black, it's heavy. That is some serious rain. We're hoping it might miss us, but we don't seem that lucky today.
We've already been hit.
Jen's looking a little bit soggy. We got the last one. JP, on the other hand, is looking very fresh. She hasn't yet been dunked by the clouds.
Not today.
So I think we got like 8 miles. We held 8 miles. It must have been for a day and a half. And then it was like every 4 hours, we started realizing we were making a mile. And it was like crept up, mile by mile. Every 4 hours, it'd be like, oh, you're 9 miles ahead. You're 10 miles ahead.
And then when we got to 10 nautical miles ahead, we were like, okay, this is good, but it's not enough. It's not enough to be safe. We're not safe until we're across that line. And I think it wasn't until then it kept creeping up and we're like 14, 16, 18 nautical miles ahead that we were like, that's a decent lead. It's still, we can't count our chickens yet, but that is a good lead. We've just got to hold on. And if all we do is just hold that gap, then we're fine.
Did you ever imagine this 3,000-mile race would finish with a head-to-head drag race?
Absolutely not, no. I very much thought that we would all sort of drift off and find our own way, and it'd be pretty apparent who was going to win at the end of this. I did not suspect that for the last 10 days of this race we'd be working our arses off, battling like a cat and mouse with the mothership, overtaking them overtaking us non-stop. It's been absolutely exhausting. Pretty fun, pretty exciting, but God, I'm shattered. And at the moment quite thankful that we're in the lead, but we just got to keep it that way for 3 more days.
3 more days, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a test in itself. Because they're pesky, them there motherships. They're right pesky. They creep up on us at night.
Pretty hardcore, those ladies. Wouldn't put anything past them. They could well sneak up tonight. In the dead of night. Sneak past us.
Wow.
Hey, JP here on day 39. I always get it wrong, and I need to call the Atlantic Campaign's duty officer back because we missed both of their calls today to hear what he has to say. And I have been instructed to record. Oh, did they make a deliberate decision to do that? Oh my God! Oh, wow. I'm not going to tell the girls that because I want the competition still on.
It was almost like Christmas had arrived.
Right, so just off the phone to Ian. Kind of take this for what it is, I would say. Is he did mention that the mothership is starting to really struggle. Like mentally, we have made this very difficult and challenging for them by consistently taking and increasing the gap. So they may well stop racing and decide to come in on Friday like late and just do sundowners. But what Ian suggests is don't take your foot off the throttle because they may catch up and then overtake you.
Oh my God, yeah!
But just so that you know, the mothership is talking about the fact that we are putting pressure on them and that they are struggling.
Even when Ian told us that, we were like, nah, not taking the foot off the throttle here, not. We were flying at that point in time. I think we just committed to it and then just go, 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 again. Again. And again and again. It was so exhausting. It was absolutely agony.
I think they reached a point they couldn't do it anymore. And we would have been the same. We would have been exactly the same as them if they had got 8 miles ahead. I think mentally we would have been in the same place, that like we were so tired. The energy that would have been required to gain 8 miles, I don't think we would have had it.
Good evening. Welcome to one of the very last days on the boat. I've just had a shower. I'm in my Taylor Swift outfit. Emily and JP have enjoyed the show immensely.
Very much.
Although this evening I didn't manage to do a karate kick and fall over butt naked, so that is one bonus. And I thought I would just show you the state of my hands right now because they are looking lovely. Look at these bad boys. How do you see them? Oh yes, they're like peeling between my fingers. I've got
Calluses are deciding to come off. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, this one's not so bad. But they're pretty, I mean, a rower's hands are not an attractive thing, let's face it. So there you go, there's your update. With 3 days to go, and all the talk is about what outfits we're going to wear for the finish line, and how hard we're going to row, and if we're going to row 3 up or 2 up, and how far the mothership are behind, how much they might be catching us up. There's a lot of things to talk about in these last few days. It's intense, the pressure's on.
Our penultimate night on the ocean has just come to an end. Yee, exciting. The sun is starting to rise over there. Looking pretty special. Last full day at sea. I think it's going to be cracking up to be a pretty good one.
It's coming to an end. This whole trip has been absolutely everything, yet nothing that I've expected.
We're pretty tired. Physically, our bodies are not that happy. But morale is good, if not slightly delusional. I'm feeling pretty content, to be honest, because I feel like very fulfilled in the experiences that we've had.
The 3 days of like massive waves, surfing, being smashed left, right and centre, wetness, craziness, I would say those are my highlights.
Just the most unbelievably brilliant sunrises and sunsets. The colours out here, the different blues of the ocean and the different colours in the sky are just mad. We've been rained on, we've been caught in squalls, we've seen sharks, we've had 4 shark sightings, we've seen a pod of whales swim around the boat, we've had another whale visit us. So many pods of dolphins and tuna, and we've seen a marlin. Less happy about that. Oh, I'm just being told to quickly check the moon. Let's have a look. Where is it? Oh, hi there, moon. That's insane. Can add golden moon to that list. That was really cool. The moon's massive. Yeah, I mean, we've seen so much. We've been so lucky.
For the last time, watching the sun go down, night about to fall, about to go into our last ever night at sea. And tomorrow we'll be waking up to the day we see land, which will be really, really exciting. I can't wait to see a tree.
So, just to show you, this is how close we are. We are 20 miles, which is insane. If I zoom out now, you can see our entire journey. Bloody hell. Correct!
It's 10 o'clock on our final day at sea. We are just under 20 miles off, getting into Antigua. Woo! And I believe on the horizon I can just catch the glimpses of land. So seeing land was pretty incredible. It was on our last day, just as the sun was rising. We must have been 20 odd miles out or something, and all of a sudden in the background there were just like this glimmer of lights. All right, ladies, we can see land! Yay!
Emily's like, I think I can see it. And we're like, ah! And it's like the oars get dropped. Me and Jen are like fighting over who's going to drop the oars to see the land. I'm looking, I'm like, I'm not, yeah, ooh, land. I'm like, not sure I could see it.
Yeah, and I stood up and had a look, and I was like, I can see what you can see, but it's basically just a dark smudge. It's like a blurry smudge on the horizon. And I think Em had filmed that. She wanted to film our reactions, and I was like, yeah, Antigua, woohoo! And I was like, all right, sit back down and crack on rowing.
I was in the bow cabin, and then I just hear the commotion.
Let me out! Let me out! Let the prisoner! Release the prisoner!
And I wasn't wearing anything. I was just like, let me out! I want out! And I think I kind of stood up, and then I saw it in with the GoPro, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go back in again. clothes on. And then I stood up and I looked back and you could just see, it looks like a cloud, but you know it's land. And it was just then like, oh shit, we've done this.
Last little bit. Finish ready. Here's the land. Just around that corner, right there, that's the finish line. How freaking exciting is that, JP?
As soon as we were level with Antigua, it just seemed to take forever. Time seemed to slow down. Erin was helming, JP and I were in the oars, and we could just see land to our side. And it just felt the land was not moving. And we were like, are we rowing and staying still? What's happening?
We had the Coast Guard that came out to greet us, but they were cheering us on, they were taking pictures.
And then next thing before long, the Atlantic Campaign's media boat had come up to us with cameras. They were filming it for their Facebook Live, so we were all sort of shouting at the camera.
My energy levels went out of this world. It's just like, I don't think you can really see it, but I'm like screaming my head off.
And then we rounded the headland and we just saw a sort of crowd of people up on the rocks, waving and cheering us on.
It was almost like this bubble of explosion, like cheering and screaming.
And we were just rowing our hearts out. The swell was huge, so we were pushing really hard.
And then we crossed the line, and I didn't realise we crossed the line until Em's oars clashed with mine. And I think you can actually see me looking back going like, what's happening? Why did you stop rowing? And then she's like, we're over the line. And I just let go of the oars and I looked at Erin and both of us had this moment of just like, we're done. And I just went like, come to me. And she just dived onto me.
We sort of threw down the oars and just bundled in on top of each other. We were trying to stand up on the boat, and at this point, all of our legs had gone to jelly and we're just hanging on for dear life.
So then from there on, I think it was hugging and screaming and flares at some point, but that's all a big blur.
3,000 miles, yeah! Come on! Woo! Let's go! Yeah! Come on! Yeah! Come on, ladies! Yes! Woo! Come on! Come on, one last one! Yeah! Come on! Yeah! Come on! Yes! Yes! Yes!
And after that we had perhaps a little bit of calm and we had to row the final bits just to get into the harbour.
There was a silent bit and we were like, we've done it. We've actually done it. We are here. And Erin was like talking to AC, to Ian, and it's like, oh, the crowds are here. They're going insane for you. And then she was like, yeah, crowd, like my family, your family, it's going to be a big crowd. Ooh.
My God, there were so many people. It was completely ridiculous. We're like, what are they all doing here?
Like for 40 days, you haven't seen anyone, and all of a sudden you have like all these people most of you haven't even seen in your life before.
Yeah, it was mad. It was like so overwhelming. Oh God.
Ladies and gentlemen, One Ocean Crew, the winners of the season!
We hadn't just done it and like rowed across the Atlantic, but we'd done it together and we'd come off as a real strong team together, which was something that was really important to all of us.
I just didn't want to not be friends. And then when we went out and we got through, and it was that moment, you're just like, fucking hell, we nailed it.
We didn't know each other before this project. Like we put ourselves together as a group of strangers because we all had the same goal. So I think a lot of people thought that we were going to struggle or fall out or not have a great time, or maybe underestimated us a little bit.
Yes, we had highs, yes, we had lows, yes, we had frustrations. Yes, we had moments of like, for fuck's sake, can you just piss off? We're human, small boat. But none of it lingered. None of it went past, I would say, another shift. The conversations we've had, the support we had to give each other,
the morale, the way we support each other, push each other, and work together as a crew really to get through some quite tough times.
The bond that you create when you've done something that's felt so personally challenging is amazing.
It just felt like a unit.
So many times where we thought we'd given everything, and you're like, I don't have any more to give.
You look at it, we're not a group of sort of 6 foot tall athletes with massive muscles, we're very ordinary women.
But there's always more to give. You can always lift to another level and lift to another level. You've just got to want it enough. You've just got to be resilient enough not to give up. And I think that's probably the big tale of our, not just our race, but the entire campaign.
Even if something seems insurmountable, or if it seems hard, if it seems tough, if you just take it one step at a time and go and put everything into it, then you'll get there.
One Ocean Cruise!